There's anger at the government on the streets in Tehran. Pockets of protest after Iran's military admitted it accidentally shot down a civilian plane. They shout for their leaders to resign. Amid the turmoil, Britain's ambassador to Iran was arrested. Rob McCare was held for 2 hours before being released. The Foreign Secretary called his treatment a flagrant violation of international law. He said the Iranian government is at a crossroads moment. It can continue its path towards pariah status with all the political and economic isolation that entails, or take steps to de-escalate tensions and engage in a diplomatic path forwards. The scenes of protest contrast with these images from last week of nationwide grief. Iranians appeared to unite in horror after the United States killed their most powerful general. The Revolutionary Guard avenged his death by launching missiles at US targets in Iraq. But as they awaited possible retaliation, they accidentally shot down Ukrain International Airline Flight 752. This officer said the plane was mistaken for an incoming cruise missile.
When I confirmed what had happened, I really wished I could die myself. I said I wished I could die to not witness such an event. For a lifetime, we've made ourselves ready to die for the people. Today, we're trading our reputation with Almighty God.
It's an extraordinary admission of fault about this tragedy after days of denial. Slim comfort for the family and friends of Iran's dead.
Our children were killed in the sky. That's why we gathered together here. Where do we go?
President Trump wants more of them to take to the streets. Tweeting in English and Farsi, he wrote, "To the brave, long-suffering people of Iran, I've stood with you since the beginning of my presidency, and my administration will continue to stand with you. We're watching your protests closely and are inspired by your courage." The world's also watching as Iran deals with the fallout from the plane crash. In Canada, which lost 57 of its citizens, there's anger.
Shooting down a civilian aircraft is horrific. Iran must take full responsibility.
These pictures of the wreckage were released by Ukrainian officials who have a team of investigators on the ground. You can still make out what's left of the cockpit. Blast marks, documented as evidence. Iran believes the United States shares the blame for stoking tensions in the first place, but its forces fired the fatal shot. Tehran will now have to live with the consequences.